So this week's episode of Akashic Records was a good episode. It didn't do anything I wasn't expecting. Pretty much everything that I was speculating last week and what I said with Riel being from Project Revive Life, and just everything about this episode is exactly what I think most people should be expecting with the whole Riel situation, with the whole fake brother situation. Like, everything about it just it fell into place with what last week set up. But there is one thing with this episode that I really appreciate, which probably no one minus myself and maybe a select few are probably going to enjoy. And what that is the fact that when the students are all like, we gotta go save Sensei, we gotta go help out Glenn, and they all agree, let's wait. Because a lot of these series, a lot of these kind of like school series where the instructor like needs saving, things like that, even Assassination Classroom does the same thing, where it's like the students decide they need to go rescue the teacher, and then a lot of times the students need rescuing by the teacher because they are just getting in the way. So I appreciate that this episode went the route of them all agreeing, let's just trust in him. We're probably just gonna get in his way, I'm sure he can handle it. And I appreciate that, because what would have happened is they would have just needed saving by Glenn, and possibly would have got Glenn, like, he would have lost a leg or an arm at best there if they would have went to try to rescue him. So I appreciate the fact that they all realized they shouldn't. That's something that I really respect, because so many times they don't do that, and in doing so they just make everything harder than it needed to be. But the episode overall, it was decent. I think it was a fun episode. It didn't do anything that special or out of the ordinary, but for those who doubt why Riel just kind of switched sides so easily, this should kind of lay out the foundation. She was a creation from Project Revive Life, so she kind of had her memories kind of altered and tampered with. She wasn't all in her mind. She was kind of losing her mind in a way. It was easy to manipulate and brainwash her, and that's why she was able to snap into it. And you see throughout the episode, her mind's kind of like, oh wait, this isn't totally true, and ultimately she breaks free from that. But also having that kind of betrayal from Glenn earlier in the series when he did kind of abandon her, and as well as Albert. With that, with also the tampered memories, that's easily how she could do it. Yes, I still don't think Glenn should have survived that giant sword through the stomach, but in terms of her betrayal, makes total sense. She was manipulated with her mind, things like that. She's a fake creation, and ultimately Glenn kind of snaps her into reality. Well, if you are just a puppet, then why are you making that face? Because she is a person, despite her being made from countless lives being lost. She is a person nonetheless. So I did like how the episode was handled. I thought there was a decent amount of action, some cool action there, especially with the Fool's World at the very end and him with the gun being badass. But then he ultimately decides, I'm no longer that person who's just gonna kill people, and instead he just punches them in the face, which I enjoyed. The episode, it did exactly what last week set up, and I appreciate that. I mean, if they would have done something that was just like, wow, I did not see that coming, excellent, but it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It made total sense with what they handled. The only thing that doesn't make sense is how Glenn survived Riel's giant sword through his gut, because he should have died almost instantaneously there. How he was healed sure makes sense with the magic, with the massive mana pool that Sistine has. However, he should have died last week when he had that giant sword through his stomach. But, you know, it's anime. We gotta get our expectations out of reality and just accept the main character is gonna survive sometimes. And it's like, it is what it is. But all the other content, it makes sense. They laid out the foundations properly. Everything was logical for the world it's in. And I enjoyed the episode, and I thought this was a nice wrap-up arc for this kind of Riel arc, and I'm going to be interested to see what they do with the final 3 episodes, what arc's going to happen. I think they just laid out a lot that they could go with. I mean, because we know that they're adapting a lot of the light novels, so we're probably never going to get a season 2, but I do hope with the next arc we get a wrap-up with that maid, the one who was with the queen and whatnot when everything was kind of happening with Rumia with the last arc there, and how I thought it was actually kind of cool that the last scene we saw her in before this episode was when she was running away from Albert, and he actually put a tracker on her, like a tracker spell, which I thought was kind of cool. It was a playback from the previous arc there, which was pretty interesting. I mean, he put a tracker on Rumia as well as this girl, so I thought it was kind of interesting how they handled that, and they played back of, yes, it happened off screen, but it did happen on screen all at the same time because he put a tracker on her when she was fleeing, when she kind of did that teleport jump in the last arc there. So I thought it was kind of interesting how they handled that. But the episode overall, it was fun. I know some people were kind of shocked with the Project Revive Life and all that, but I mean, I saw all that coming last week, so for myself it was like, this is what I expected, and there's nothing too bad with that. But I mean, if you didn't watch my review last week and you just kind of went into this episode blind, not thinking about Riel's name and everything like that, then sure, this could be a kind of shocking episode, the kind of blood and things like that. But for me, it did exactly what I thought I was going to do, and there's nothing too wrong with that. I thought actually the music itself was actually pretty good in the episode as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handled the last arc here. We got 3 episodes left. Hopefully it has some sort of decent stopping point, but since this is based on an ongoing series, I highly doubt it, but we'll see what next arc brings. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Was this a fantastic episode? Was it a decent episode, or did you find it to be a bad episode? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.